Good morning, dear students. Today we will continue with the remaining part of the chapter. In the first part we learnt about classification of living organisms. Today we will be learning classification of microbes. What are microbes? Microbes are the living organisms that are very tiny or minute to be seen by the naked eye. That is why to observe such organisms we need to use an instrument like the microscope. The microscope uses lenses and mirrors to magnify the image in such a way that minute organisms can also be observed carefully. Microorganisms are those living organisms which are measured or they lie in the range of nanometer to micrometer. Micrometer is denoted as μm, whereas nanometer is denoted as nm. If you try to relate these with the meter, it is 1 meter is 10 raised to 6 micrometer and 1 meter is 10 raised to 9 nanometer. So, in this scale when we see, we can say that microorganisms normally lie from the range of 10 nanometer to 100 micrometer. 10 nanometer to 100 micrometer, whereas there are some viruses which lie even less than that. So a total of microorganisms can range from 1 nanometer to 100 micrometer, 1 nm to 100 μm. Microorganisms are divided into two types depending upon the complexity of the cell structure into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. We have already learned about complexity of cell structure in the last class. I told you that prokaryotes are those organisms which have very simple cell structure where they don't have a nucleus and they don't have membrane bound organelle, and eukaryotes are those which have complex cell structures where they have nucleus and they also have membrane bound organelles. These prokaryotes are nothing but bacteria, whereas eukaryotes are divided into three: protista, fungus and algae. We are going to look at each one of this. Bacteria. Bacteria, the word has its origin from Greek where it means cane or rod. The initial forms of bacteria that were discovered had rod-shaped structure, and that is why this term was given to it. Bacteria are the organisms which have cell wall. They can either survive by themselves or they may infect living organisms. So, bacteria can either be independent or it may be parasitic, where it infects the cells in plants, animals or human beings and survives by gaining nutrition from that. Bacteria normally is found in the form of colonies. Colonies means that many organisms coming together. Bacteria normally divides by binary fission. In this, where you see at the extreme left, the circular structure is the parent cell. The parent cell has DNA inside it. This DNA, which is one single copy, gets multiplied to form two different copies. So, when two DNA molecules are formed in the parent cell, the cell will elongate such that it makes more space to accommodate the second DNA molecule. Because as this elongates, there is division that is made in this parent cell, which is also called as the furrow. This furrow deepens and deepens in such a way that the entire elongated cell gets divided into two, and the middle structure is called as the cell plate. Further, these two cells or separated cells, they completely move out from one another in such a way that two daughter cells are formed. So, by binary fission, we get two daughter cells from one parent cell. Now we can see this. This is how bacteria divides through binary fission. Bacteria also has various types, and the names given to it is based upon the shape of the bacteria. The bacteria which is spherical in shape is called as coccus. The bacteria which is rod shaped is called as bacillus. The bacteria which is circular as well as rod shaped is called as Coccobacillus. The bacteria which is comma shaped is called as Vibrio, and the bacteria which is spiral in shape is called as Spirillum. We look at some examples. The first is Diplococci. The word can be divided into two. Diplo means two and cocci means circle. When two circular structures are joined together, it is called as diplococci. Second is Staphylococci. Staphylo or Staphylo basically means a group or bunch of grapes. So these organisms which are called as Staphylococcus or Staphylococcus are the organisms which under the microscope looks like bunch of grapes. Next is Streptococci. Strepto means chain and cocci means spherical. When circular structures of the organism form a chain-like structure, it is called as Streptococci. Bacilli, which is bacillus or rod-shaped structure, and spirilla is nothing but spiral-shaped structure. So bacteria normally are given the name based upon the shape of that particular organism. Protozoa. Protozoa, the word has its origin from Greek, where proto means first and zoa or zoon means animal. Protozoa was believed to be the first animal. The examples for these are Paramecium, Entamoeba, Plasmodium. Protozoans are normally found in soil, water, and they are pathogenic. Pathogenic means that they prove to be harmful to other living organisms, maybe because of their parasitic nature. Protozoans have different types of nutrition. What do you mean by nutrition? Nutrition is how an organism is getting its food. There are three modes of nutrition found in protozoa. First is autotrophic, which means that it makes its own food because it contains chloroplast. Second is heterotrophic, that is it's dependent upon the others for nutrition. And the third one is mixotrophic, where it may at times act as autotrophic and at times act as heterotrophic. Similarly, it also shows different mode of locomotion. Locomotion means movement. Different protozoas show different mode of movement. There are three types in this. First is pseudopodia. The word pseudo means false and podia means foot. So pseudopodia means a false foot. This is normally seen in organisms like amoeba, where no specific foot is present, but for its movement it temporarily makes a foot-like structure. That is why it is called as pseudopodia or false foot. Second is cilia. Cilia, basically the word means eyelash. So cilia means that a hair-like structure. This is normally found on the external surface of the organism. The third is flagella. Flagella means, the word means whip, or it is a single long lash-like appendage or a long lash-like structure All three, that is pseudopodia, cilia and flagella, all three are used in moving or movement of the organism. There are many organisms which have both cilia and flagella present in their structure. We will look at each one of it. First, we will look at pseudopodia. As I already told you, pseudopodia is seen in structures like amoeba. If they want to move to the left, they extend that part of the body, and if they want to move towards the right, they extend that part of the body. So the extended part of the organism is called as a pseudopod or pseudopodia. This, if you look at this carefully, you will find the external structure of this is hair-like structure, which is actually showing movement. You can relate this to the movement of the legs of the earthworm. If you have seen the earthworm moving from one part to another, the small leg-like structure shows a wave kind of a movement. The same movement is shown or observed in the organisms which have cilia. This is flagella. Flagella is hair-like structure that is seen in bacteria. If you look at that hair-like structure here, it is normally used to push the bacteria from one place to another. Same is also found in sperm cells. Protozoans which normally show the presence of pseudopodia, they are called as amoeboids. The ones who have cilia are called as ciliates. The non-motile ones, or those protozoans who do not move from one place to another, are called as sporozoa, and the one who have flagella are called as flagellates. So, based on the movement, protozoans can be divided into four: amoeboids, ciliates, sporozoa and flagellates. Protozoa show cell division, which is very simple cell division. In this, the nucleus divides first, as you can see, and then the entire cytoplasm moves out. This is simple cell division. Fungus. Fungus is an organism which is normally seen on dead and decaying organic matter. This you must have quite often seen. Fungus, as we learnt in the last class, shows very similar classification like the animal kingdom. The difference between the two we saw was fungus was a decomposer and animal was a consumer. But fungus shows one more difference. The difference is that fungus has a cell wall. Animal cells do not have a cell wall, but fungus shows a cell wall which is made up of the toughest sugar, which is called as chitin. Fungus normally shows buds. If you look at the central structure, you will see a small outgrowth or a small growth at the end of the entire huge spherical surface. That structure which you see that is attached is called as a bud. This is how fungus multiplies. There are buds which are formed at the external part of the entire parent cell. These buds become bigger and bigger, and at one time where it reaches maturity, it leaves the entire parent cell. Budding is what this process is called, and budding is one of the mode of replication or one mode of reproduction seen in fungus. Algae. Algae are the green structures which you normally see on water. Many algae are macroscopic. Macroscopic means it can be seen with the eye, whereas there are many which are microscopic. That means you need to have a microscope, as you can see here. This is a microscopic form of algae. Chlorella is an example of algae. Chlamydomonas is another example of algae. Algae are the green structures which do not normally show any kind of differentiation like the leaf, the stem, the roots, etc. They are considered to be plants because they show photosynthesis because of the presence of organelles like chloroplast. You will be learning this in the next standard. How exactly is algae coming under the group of plants will be learnt. Viruses. Viruses are those organisms which are not considered to be living organisms. If you remember the chart which I showed you at the beginning of this period, I showed you that organisms are divided into prokaryotes, eukaryotes, and then I told you that prokaryotes are bacteria whereas eukaryotes are protista, fungus and algae. But in that entire chart we did not have virus. The reason for that is viruses are not considered to be living organisms. They are believed to be the link between living and non-living. Viruses are extremely minute structures because they range in nanometers, and that is why for observing them and studying them we need to have specialized equipments like the electron microscope. We cannot visualize or observe viruses on normal microscopes or compound microscopes. Viruses are those organisms which have DNA or RNA as their genetic material, which means that DNA or RNA will be in the centralmost part, and this DNA is covered by a layer of protein coat. This protein coat is again surrounded by an envelope. This is the normal structure which we find in maximum number of viruses. This is a picture which shows those viruses which feed on bacteria. The viruses that eat bacteria or feed on bacteria are called as bacteriophage. A bacteriophage shows a structure like this. It has a capsid head. The capsid head is nothing but the envelope that is surrounding the nucleic acid. The nucleic acid is either a DNA or it can be an RNA. We have the collar, we have the sheath, the base plate, the spikes and the tail fiber. Normally, when this bacteriophage sits on the bacteria, with the help of the tail fiber, it can settle on the bacterial surface. With the help of the spike, it gets attached to the bacterial surface, and the nucleic acid that is present in its capsid head moves through the sheath into the bacterial cell which it has infected. Once the nucleic acid has entered inside the bacterial cell, the nucleic acid continuously gets multiplied to form many viruses inside the bacterial cell, and when the entire bacterial cell is full with viruses, it bursts open to release many viruses out. We can have a look at this. This is how the entire capturing takes place. The uppermost structure which you see is that of the virus. The virus actually now is on a surface which is the bacterial surface which it has infected. The spiral structure which you see in the center is the nucleic acid which is moving from the capsid head into the bacterial cell. Once this nucleic acid has entered the bacterial cell, it will use the proteins in the bacteria to multiply the DNA or the RNA, and it makes many copies of viruses inside the bacterial cell. For making this multiple copies of viruses, it utilizes or absorbs nutrition from bacteria. Once the entire bacterial surface is full with viruses, it will burst in such a way that it releases many viruses out. This is how a bacteriophage survives. This is how it captures. The nucleic acid is slowly moving into the bacterial cell. Once the bacterial cell is full with viruses, it will burst in such a way that it releases many viruses out. Have a look at this once again. I hope this is clear. There are many examples for viruses like poliovirus, influenza virus, HIV or human immunodeficiency virus, and picorna virus. There are many more viruses present. If you see, the total surface or the entire structure of viruses somewhat remains the same. I hope this chapter is clear to one and all. Kindly read the text properly. Thank you.